Hey, brother! Look, we all know Gilderoy Lockhart's favorite color is lilac, right? But did you know there is an in-universe canon explanation for why it's lilac?
But I don't talk about that.
I came across this the other day and was blown away by the connection because it's never really stated outright in the text. It's just sort of there for you to discover under a rock one day. And boy, do I like me some rock looking. But if you don't like rock looking, then maybe you'd come across it over on like your favorite podcast, Through the Gryffindor, our chapter by chapter, sentence by sentence analysis of the entire Harry Potter story. And I mean sentence by sentence, by the way. I mean, just look at my copy of Half-Blood Prince. It is dripping with notes. Not unlike the actual copy of Advanced Potion Making that used to belong to the Half-Blood Prince. How meta. But Harry Potter is packed to the brim with tiny little secrets like this for you to discover, and we do our absolute best to bring all of our findings to you, but not every groundbreaking theory has enough meat on the bones to fill out an entire script for a full YouTube video. Sometimes we uncover extra evidence for existing theories, but the video's already up, so what are we gonna do? Just like remake the whole thing a week later? Forget we made it at all and remake it as an original video that we thought we hadn't made yet? That has happened. I mean, both times I thought I was being really clever putting the turban on the queue. Point is, a lot of juicy little theory giblets get left on the cutting room floor, never fully savored, which if you ask me is a crying shame. Today, however, we are putting together 5 of these little bite-sized theories for your viewing pleasure, so at long last, you too can know why lilac is Gilderoy Lockhart's favorite color.
Look at these questions.
How does a love potion work? What was the identity of the Albanian peasant Voldemort killed? And what on earth do the Dursleys' agapanthus have to do with anything? Today we get to the bottom of all that and more. Hey, speaking of Through the Gryffindor, this feels like a good time to remind you that we are going on tour. We are bringing our podcast all over the Northeast in just a couple of months this September, making stops in Boston, Hartford, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and Richmond. Tickets are on sale now, but are going fast, so there's a link in the description down below. Hope to see you there. But okay, I've teased you long enough. Let's get down to brass tacks, shall we? Or I guess maybe it's more like a light purple tacks. Why is Gilderoy Lockhart's favorite color lilac?
Hardly any of you remember.
It's certainly not a question that needs answering. You're allowed to have any color as your favorite color, and yet the text totally provides anyway.
Wicked.
But only for the very careful reader, because the answer comes a solid 4 books after Lockhart's first appearance in Chamber of Secrets, where he uses Ron's broken wand and erases his own memory, and a full book after his final appearance in Order of the Phoenix, where we learn that he never made a full recovery and continues to suffer the very fate he inflicted upon all of his victims after stealing their stories.
Hello. Who are you?
But if you're paying attention, the answer is provided in Harry's first ever potion class with Professor Slughorn, where he wins the Felix Felicis. A feat he accomplishes by completing Slughorn's challenge of brewing the best draught of living death by the end of class.
Merlin's beard, it is perfect.
Also, a fun fact about this potion is the very one that Snape quizzes Harry on during his first ever potions class. For your information, Potter, asphodel and wormwood make a sleeping potion so powerful it is known as the draught of living death. And fittingly, Snape ends up helping him brew it correctly here via the prince's copy of Advanced Potion Making, which, as it guides Harry, offers up several additional ingredients to the potion, including valerian roots and the juice of a sapophoris bean. Sapophoris. I got it right on the first try. I really didn't think I would. That's the one you want to crush with the side of a silver knife to release the juice better. And both of those ingredients are kind of cool. First of all, valerian root is an actual real world root, which is commonly used as a mild sedative to aid in healthy sleep cycles and anxiety reduction. Where can I get some? Also, it makes sense for a sleeping potion.
You need healthy, natural sleep. Choose some valerian root and get more exercise.
Sapophoris beans, however, are not real and have a pretty unique in-universe effect, which is that if you drink the juice straight, like not diluted into a potion or anything, it will be too concentrated and it will make you lose your memory. Ah, we starting to connect some dots?
And, who am I?
But not only that, check out what happens when Harry adds the saprophyros bean juice to the draft of Living Death. She nodded impatiently, not taking her eyes off her potion, which was still deep purple, though according to the book, ought to be turning a light shade of lilac by now. Harry crushed his bean with the flat side of the dagger. To his astonishment, it immediately exuded so much juice, he was amazed the shriveled bean could have held it all. Hastily scooping it into the cauldron, he saw, to his surprise, that the potion immediately turned exactly the shade of lilac described by the textbook. Lilac!
My favorite color is
Lilac.
Yeah, whether subconsciously or not, Lockhart's favorite color is lilac because the bean that makes you forget stuff, like he does to other people, also turns potions lilac in color. That's so fun. Next. All right, let's keep on potions here and answer another one from that very same class. How do love potions work?
It's rumoured to smell differently to each person according to what attracts them.
According to Slughorn, Amortentia, the strongest love potion in the world, is the most dangerous potion sitting in the room with them, which is saying something when the other three are Polyjuice Potion, Veritaserum, and Felix Felicis. When you have seen as much of life as I have, you will not underestimate the power of obsessive love. Here at SCB, we've always thought this was an allusion to Slughorn's own potential involvement in Merope winning over Tom Riddle Sr., but full video on that by clicking the card. Now, we all know Amortentia smells differently to each person according to what attracts them, but there is another effect as well. Harry found that he was breathing very slowly and deeply, and that the potion's fumes seemed to be filling him up like drink. A great contentment stole over him. He grinned across at Ron, who grinned back lazily. This effect sounds extremely similar to two other things in the wizarding world. First is the Imperious Curse. It was the most wonderful feeling. Harry felt a floating sensation as every thought and worry in his head was wiped gently away, leaving nothing but a vague, untraceable happiness. And it sounds suspiciously like the Vila's aura. But then the music started, and Harry stopped worrying about them not being human. In fact, he stopped worrying about anything at all. The Vila had started to dance, and Harry's mind had gone completely and blissfully blank. All three of those suggest a hypnotic effect that leaves you extremely open to suggestion and without worry. The difference is that with the actual curse, the person casting it can suggest literally anything for you to do, while Vila magic has one very specific instruction, which is just, love me.
I do love you.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. We're brothers.
We are brothers. I love you too. Oh, now he's crying. Oh, so lame. Shake it off, bro. Forgot to bring a towel. Oh, I just rolled in Ben's tears. Oops. But to that end, the love potion is like a distilled version of the Vila aura, which you then have more control over because you can selectively choose who to use the potion on and don't have to be near them or for them to even know you for it to work. Like think Ron and Ramilda Vane, for example. It's basically casting the Imperious Curse on someone from afar, but again, with just a single instruction. Love me. Also, one step the book never requires, but sparked up when we were writing this because the Amortentia is being displayed right next to the Polyjuice Potion, is that a final ingredient for the potion to work isn't a bit of the person you're hoping to woo, but instead, probably a bit of yourself. Which would explain why Ron immediately zeroes in on Ramilda specifically and not just the first person he sees, which would have been Harry.
It never annoy me.
That could have been fun too. But instead, her love potion is tied specifically to her.
Ramilda, of course. Ramilda Vane.
And the art of taking an abstract concept like that and like distilling it down into liquid form is not uncommon in the wizarding world. I actually think the Wolfsbane potion works a little bit like Amortentia as well. Like Lupin is able to maintain his mind when he's transformed with the Marauders when they're out exploring the castle grounds in their animal forms, which is the same effect the Wolfsbane potion gives, suggesting that the Wolfsbane potion, as formidable as its function is actually just friendship in liquid form. Next! All right, next up, let's tackle another Death Eater gone good, Regulus Black. And the answer to the question, was he a Hatstall? Which, if you don't remember, a Hatstall is when the sorting hat has trouble sorting you for more than 5 minutes before making its choice. And the short answer is yes, I think he was. And much like Harry, it was between Slytherin and Gryffindor. Because also much like Harry, I think Regulus was the chosen one before Harry. The prophecy only states that the one with the power to defeat Voldemort approaches, not that he absolutely will win. So for all we know, there have been a slew of chosen ones who have failed. But Harry and Regulus are the only ones who know about the Horcruxes. Both are seekers for their house teams, both have an affinity for house elves. The list goes on. Not to mention Regulus dies at like almost the exact time Harry is born, so it almost feels like there was a baton being passed, just saying. But so why do we think he was a Hatstall? Well, because I think the Hat was really wanting to put him in Gryffindor. I mean, for one, his name, Regulus, much like Sirius, is named after a star. In this case, the brightest star in the Leo constellation, aka the giant lion, aka Gryffindor. Plus, at one point, Dumbledore even tells Snape he thinks that they're sometimes sorted too early, meaning that he thinks Snape should have been a Gryffindor too, and suggesting he thinks the Hat gets it wrong sometimes.
You would have done well in Slytherin.
Of course, the Hat would never admit to that. And when you think about it, Regulus kind of forged the path that Snape ends up following. I mean, he starts out as a Death Eater, only to switch sides, do as much damage as he could, and then dies. But so then why did the Hat choose the wrong house? Well, it's like I said, it's because he's the same as Harry and asked it to, just in reverse order, choosing not Gryffindor, not Gryffindor. How do you think the Hat rhymed that one? Not Gryffindor, eh? Well, if you're not in, better be Slytherin! And why he would do it is pretty obvious too, because don't forget, Regulus is the younger brother of Sirius, and Sirius's parents hated Sirius for his non-black family conformist ways, and he was in Gryffindor. So if Regulus saw his older brother get sorted into Gryffindor and then they hated him for it, I'd probably not want to be in there either, even though he clearly belonged based on his future endeavors. Next! Speaking of Regulus's future endeavors, let's now transition to Horcruxes and answer, who was the Muggle tramp Voldemort killed to make the Locket a Horcrux? And first of all, let me just say, yes, I'm aware we just made a video answering this question, but this theory offers a different possible solution that I might like even better. For context though, Dumbledore tells Harry that each of Voldemort's Horcruxes were made with the murder of a significant person, and that Harry's death was supposed to be the final one and the most significant. However, it is also canon that among the Horcrux murders, one of the victims is a Muggle tramp. No name, no story, no perceived significance. And this is apparently for the Locket, like Slytherin's object, the one that is literally his own family heirloom, and he just gets a random Muggle living on the streets? It does not add up, I say. Until now. We asked ourselves, okay, are there any Muggles at all in Voldemort's past of significance? And the answer is very few. Obviously, the most notable ones are his father and grandparents, all of whom we know he kills, but his dad was for the Ring Horcrux, and if it had been one of his grandparents for the Locket, they'd probably just be listed that way anyway, and we know that they're not, tramps, because they are instead super rich, snotty people. It's called Mucinex, people! It's the wrong kind of snotty. But other than those three, there's not a lot. There's Mrs. Cole at the orphanage, or I guess maybe one of the orphans. Like there was Billy Stubbs, right? That's whose pet rabbit he
Hanged.
So I mean, if it's him, Voldemort's really kicking him while he's down. Also, I'm just gonna say it, Dumbledore, that should have been like just a real big red flag right there, okay? Just maybe you pack it up. Maybe you leave. Then there's also Amy Benson and Dennis Bishop, who were never quite right again after he brought them to a cave. And that's when it clicked, because which Horcrux are we solving for? The Locket. Where did he hide it? The cave. Who else knew about the cave? We have Creature, who he already believes is dead, and Amy Benson and Dennis Bishop, who would have been grown up by then. But both of them represent loose ends. People who, no matter how slight the chance, could be traced back to Voldemort's childhood and potentially questioned for information about the cave he once brought them to, which now conceals one of his most precious objects. And it actually gets better because, as Mrs. Cole says, they were never quite right again. I guess better is subjective. It helps our theory. It's just not good for them. They're going through a spell.
Literally.
Point is, whatever happened down in the cave could have been so traumatizing to affect them forever, possibly even driving them mad. And like, we know they don't have parents to take care of them because they were orphans. So what if this cave trip drove Dennis Bishop so mad that he couldn't make it in society, and that's the reason he becomes a tramp to begin with? Because then Voldemort using his death for the Locket is significant because it closes a loose end with the orphanage, and the orphanage was where his mother, heir of Slytherin, died, and where he first discovered the cave. As for Amy Benson, I have no idea, but you know, I like to think maybe she grew up, married a milkman, changed her last name, and then named one of her sons after her dead childhood friend.
Hi, Harry.
That's his brother, Colin. It's Dennis Creevy. Muggle born. Amy Benson. Muggle. I did the math for you, it turns out. Milkman! But speaking of muggles, let's wrap things up here and get to the question that I know really hooked you at the beginning of this video, which is, what did the Dursleys' agapanthus have to do with anything?
Justice.
Which, by the way, quick shout out to the Half-Bloom Prince for submitting this one in a review of Through the Gryffindor. Wow, did you guys see that? 4.9 stars on 1,600 reviews? I would check out that podcast if I were you. In any case, when Dumbledore comes to pick Harry up in Half-Blood Prince, he remarks to the Dursleys, "It is a long time since my last visit. I must say, your agapanthus are flourishing." That is literally the only genuine compliment he offers them on this visit, and it has a lot more layers than you might think. Agapanthus, by the way, if you couldn't tell from context, are a kind of flower, and their name is derived from two Greek words. Agape, which means love, and anthos, which means flower. So literally, flower of love. And Dumbledore's compliment of these flowers feels extra significant given that Lily and Petunia are both named after flowers. Which, in case you were wondering, Lily is the death flower. Get it? She dies.
Spoilers.
Although I've been told that this same flower goes by Cedric's in some cultures.
You did not.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't forget. Petunia, on the other hand, I bet you can guess it, means resentment.
I was the only one to see her for what she was. A freak.
Yeah, little on the nose there, if you ask me, but that's okay because on the nose is actually what we're looking for here because it's Lily's sacrificial protection and the bond of blood charm at the Dursleys that I think is on display in the flower bed. Because Petunia may resent Harry and everything to do with magic, but as Dumbledore points out, she still took him in, thus sealing the protection on the house, a protection born of love. So to me, what the flowers actually represent is the fact that the charm is still going strong, even if tensions between parties in the house are high. Honestly, it kind of makes me wonder if the Dursleys even planted the agapanthus or if they are actually a magically occurring plant because of the spell, which is why Dumbledore points them out. Really more of a self-5, like, whoo-hoo, still going strong. You still got it, Albus. That was a really loud clap. Now my ear's ringing. Darn Dumbledore and his massive high fives. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's 5 mini Harry Potter theories. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so don't miss any future Harry Potter action from us. If you want to see Slughorn's darkest secret and how he perhaps brewed the love potion for Merope Gaunt, you can check out this video right here. Or if you want to see a different theory for who the Muggle tramp was, you can check out this video down here. But otherwise, until next time, ducks go in cups.